everyone, and happy Father's Day to all the Dynamite dads out there. We've got this lovely mural that is set up on the side of us. Had a little guess who in some cases, trying to figure out.
The only one we're unsure about is bottom right. I think we've pieced together the rest of them, but bottom right has to let us know who that is in there.
Yeah,
it's just some random guy and his dad.
It's not even from the broadcast.
They just stuck it in there to like mess with us. We like, oh,
yeah, or it's
apparently
Captain
dash off
Flowers.
screen yelled Zale. Maybe that's who it is.
Yeah.
Hearing
it is Flowers. Producers.
Yeah.
Okay, Flowers it is.
All right.
Cool.
We got it.
We solved the mystery. It doesn't surprise me. Emily's already getting read to over there with her big brain up in the top corner. But
I was such a cute kid. What
you
happened?
were. Anyway, we got Mark, we got Emily, we got Kaizen, we got the dads, we got them all. But not only is it Father's Day, it's Sunday Fun Day, baby. We got big matches with big implications for our standings, including we've got this little three-way tie going on here for second place.
We do, and this is really exciting because we get to see the top 4 teams all play each other today. You know, it's the end of the 3rd round robin of the year, end of the 1st round robin of Summer Split. So at the end of the day, I mean, these 4 teams are all 1 game apart. Someone's going to be at the top.
I'm stoked that's that close. I feel like it very easily could have been one of these situations like one team's dominant and is like 22 wins and no one else is close to them, which we sometimes see that. So it's really cool to have all 4 within this one game.
Perfectly timed, too, considering we are at the end of this round robin.
Yeah, absolutely. So it feels like a mini checkpoint to see where people's power level is at. So I have some thoughts on what I'm going to see, but I'm excited to just see with the results.
Well, let's get into some of the stuff we saw this weekend. Looking at Cloud9.
Yeah, Cloud9 lost yesterday, 2nd loss on the Renekton, and I think it's time for Perks to hang that one up. He himself has tweeted a similar thing about the champion that, you know, he doesn't think he should be playing it. He has a champion Ocean, all right? Perks can play so many champions, it's incredible. This just isn't one of them. This is this is the sandbar in the ocean that you just gotta learn to avoid. Stay out of there. It's not even just like, oh, you know, sometimes you lose on a champ, it's like small sample size. I think, you know, watching the game enough times now, it's like, all right, this just isn't quite the match for him for some reason.
I'm sad. As a big like mid Renekton proponent, especially coming as an LPL viewer, it makes me sad. You know, I love the mid Renekton actually.
They're clearly trying to make it work. They want it to be a thing, but even Perks recognizing that it might not be up his wheelhouse. But things are going hot for CLG in recent times.
They are, Gabby, aren't they? Yeah. So CLG finally found something that works for them, and it turns out is just press R comps. Like press R good. We're gonna pick Vi, we're gonna pick Kled, we're gonna make the team fighting super straightforward. So I love to see it, and I'm gonna say right now, CLG is gonna go 3-0 this weekend.
Woo!
I think that CLG fans can get behind that. We do actually have them coming up in our first match of the day, so let's go ahead and dive into it. They're facing off against Dignitas QNTMPAY, and both of these teams are really looking to stabilize here in summer.
Yeah, I mean, so I love when teams run these crazy team compositions because I'm always like, you come up against the hubris, right? Like, are you going to ban out the Galio? Are you going to ban out the Vi? And just be like, we can see you on OP picks, but not this comp? Or are you going to keep saying, you know, we think we have an answer that these first 2 teams didn't, obviously. So I'm very curious to see. You see the compositions up there. I think the Galio is kind of the most must ban there, in my opinion. However, that is the big thing I want to see is, are Dignitas going to ban out this comp? Are they going to ban the Galio?
I hope they do, because when you look at this comp, you know, like, there's parts that can easily be interchanged. There's so many engaged supports right now. That could be an Alistar, that could be a Rel, it could be anything. Same with the top lane. We already saw that transition even though it wasn't banned. The Kalista is a little unique, but either way, the Galio from mid gives a lot of pressure in the early game, or not really pressure, but priority to be able to go collapse on the Scuttle Crabs and support the Vi, which can also be changed out for the Sejuani or something. I mean, there's so many champs right now that can also engage from the jungle.
And it was funny because I saw Invert tweeted that he was like, okay, like, where's the hubris here? You know, I'm interested on people's thoughts. And he, not so coincidentally, is part of the Dignitas coaching staff for Academy. So I am very curious to see if this is just, you know, polling the people.
Get online. You control Dignitas's draft.
What are we going to do with the draft? laughed. I just thought this was kind of a funny call. I don't actually think he was switching for Anthony.
No, they're serious.
Yeah, the majority of fans voted no, right? So I think he should just listen to the fans.
Of course.
Yeah, of course, Dad.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to figure something out, right? On the side of Dignitas, we have been facing the switch up in the jungle position.
Yeah, we have, and no one knows why people have speculated that's out of game. But if we look in game, Dardoch has sort of been the fulcrum for this Dignitas lineup. Everyone's been talking about the Dardoch A to Z jungle challenge, him just staying on champion Ocean game over game, and that's been a lot of what has made Dignitas so effective game after game. They have so many different ways that they can come at you. With the Xin pick, we saw the Kayn last split as well. So now Acadian's coming in. He's a solid LCS level jungler for sure. But now with all the changes that they've made to mid and jungle, there'll be a lot that Dignitas will have to retool to figure out what their style is.
I was gonna say, it's tough to say because Dardoch was someone that they game planned so much around. It felt like with these unique champion picks that not only the draft flexibility, but in game, like, okay, level 1, are they going to invade Dardoch? Let's have 5 men here ready to defend him. There are so many plays like that from spring that happened, and now when you bring in Acadian, you're not just talking about like skill comparisons or whatever. You're also looking at like, well, what is the team going to do now? Who is the person that they're keying off of for their strategies in the early game?
Yeah, and on top of that, Dardoch was positioned as a leader of this team, right? And I would say Acadian had a solid game last game, but you could clearly see that Dignitas was not as coordinated as we typically expect them to be. They're sort of this team that, has reasonable early games, but late game, their team fighting is where they really start to shine. And with that key leadership out of pocket, it's clear that Dignitas is sort of having to refigure out, like, how do they play these team fight situations.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I brought this up yesterday, but I think, if they do stick with Acadian, part of the coordination has to be around the team fighting, right? Because we really want to see this team come together. I actually do love the Diana pick. It's a risky pick, but I actually really like it when it works. It works really well. So if they're gonna stick with that, increased coordination will also help with that because she does, as we talked about their team composition yesterday, rely a lot on the entire team being well coordinated enough to go off of the Diana ult, and then everyone is going in, and then hopefully you have enough damage to kill everyone.
And that is something that you have to note because Acadian being on the Diana, I don't think anyone is saying it's his fault that they lost the game. It's the coordination and also just getting shut down early to not have those advantages.
Yeah, it was a rough game. I'm hoping that we see a little bit better showing this time around, especially with the draft we were talking about. Please ban the Galio. Please get rid of the Vi. I don't want to see this comp again as much as Kaizen wants to.
I vehemently disagree, Mark. But
I love the bongo comp, honestly. Like,
bongo it up, baby.
Keep bringing it out.
Yeah, keep bringing it out. Yeah, and to speak honestly about CLG, it's not like we haven't seen them have good looks early game. We saw them on the Lee Sin with Broxa. That's sort of a specialty of his, and consistently they are able to produce some leads early. But when it comes to mid and late, they start to have coordination issues, which the bongo comp, I think we're calling it, sort of removes the difficulty.
It gives you automatic coordination.
Yeah, there you go. Just all press R at the same time. So it's a good look for CLG.
Low-key, it was Kaizen actually on that poll with 80 different accounts saying, no, don't ban. Don't ban. All right, we're ready to get into game. Let's send things over to our very own Doug Duo and dive into today's action. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, the Tigers. Welcome, everyone, to the caster desk. I'm excited to bring you the first 3 games of the day with the one and only Azael.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I wanted to say Happy Father's Day to you.
Happy Father's Day to you as well.
And to all the dads out there. I feel like you're kind of like the League of Legends dad,
Sure.
Season 1 Worlds was in your basement.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, basically birthed this game.
It's all me. No one else gets any credit. I am the one with ownership and patronage. So I
must be nice.
It's great. I've got hundreds of millions of really petulant children. It's outstanding. I've just been around. Call me Genghis Khan, maybe. I don't know.
Their dad.
So here's the thing. All right, CLG is facing Dignitas, and CLG they were 1-5. And now they've won 2 games in a row. They clapped 100 Thieves, which I still believe are the best team in the league, and they had a really convincing win over, I believe it was Evil Geniuses yesterday. And CLG fans, you're up against Dignitas now. They have looked really, really bad with the roster changes in the last few weeks. So CLG fans, you know what's coming next. You know what's coming next.
They're about to get perfect game.
They're about to get perfect game by Dignitas here because that is the premier CLG thing to do, which I feel bad for, but you know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, the big question after those 2 games, and I talked about this yesterday, I think we casted that game, is the idea of, are you now a better team or are you just really good at one comp, right? At one style.
Right.
And if that style is banned away, can you find ways to emulate it So Galio is going to be taken off the table. Lucian taken off the table. So 2 bans already thrown the way of Pope Elter. People kind of identifying Galio as the key component. I actually think Vi is also very important. It's just you can reach backlines so incredibly easy.
Yeah.
Will they even be willing to run the Vi without the Galio is an interesting question, though. And Gwen, again, banned on blue side. So a lot of teams, kind of interesting, you know, not willing to play into it, but not comfortable enough to allow it to go over to the red side. That does feel like a hole in some of the team's game. I do feel like if there's an OP that you feel you must ban on blue side, then there's kind of something wrong.
Yeah, unless you believe Gwen is only the 2nd best champ in the game, and you're like, no, Lee Sin is the best champ in the game. We will first pick Lee Sin, and we don't want you to get number 2. You're not going to allow to pick Gwen. Like, in those lenses, if that's your view, I accept any blue side ban, right? If you're not the best champ in the game, go ahead and ban it on blue because you're taking number 1 and you don't want to give up number 2. I buy that. Karma, I don't think she is the best champ in the game, but like a lot of teams do have high priority. We've seen a lot of first pick Karma games.
Yeah, and it does kind of shape compositions in a similar way to, like, obviously very different styles, but, you know, Galio is like, you're going to enable the dive. Karma is more about, okay, speed up, peel back, re-engage with the 2nd round of those Mantra shields. It allows for a lot of hyper carries to kind of be brought in and really emphasize, whether it's carrying through jungle, if you want to go for an aggressive jungle pick, or it is more commonly through your marksman in the bot lane. Xin plus Karma is a very common pairing here. CLG is getting aggressive with their engage options already. Lee Sin, you want to talk about as a solo laner, but because it's Broxa, he has been very good at it. It could be going to the jungle. Obviously, Turtle on his Kalista, very proficient here. And you could still pair up with an aggressive engage support to be able to have even more engage options. It's maybe not the full send of the Galio style, but it is something that can dive in, and Dignitas clearly is drafting something that can peel back, it feels like, to be able to answer what they're anticipating is going to come out from CLG.
Absolutely. Of course, we already knew it was answer. The question was, can CLG run the same comp 3 games in a row? Obviously, Galio was banned. The Lee Sin grab doesn't completely preclude Vi, and they might leave it up as a flex for a while and grab support here and wait because, hey, maybe that's still a possibility down the line, and they really is a mid lane replacement. Like, what if he pulls a full Doinby and we get Malphite mid or something, you know?
You know, the other thing I was going to say is, I mean, that would be exciting, but there's also very different options that can reach backline in different ways, right? So when you think about, okay, you want to dive backline, all right, you're going to go Malphite or Kled or Galio, but you can also play, guess what? Xerath, Ziggs, champions that just stand way back, but they can still reach backline, right? Ziggs is actually very powerful right now. If you throw the Nautilus into the backline, you hit them with a point-and-click R, you drop the Ziggs bomb on their head, guess what? That's still challenging the backline, just in a different way. So I want to see if CLG has any of those looks prepared, or if they will just now default to, all right, it's Orianna, or it's Victor.
Yep. Yeah, like that would be a full turn for CLG if it's like, yep, it's Victor mid, and we're playing, I'm just going to say Darius, because he doesn't really do much more than hit frontline himself, like, you know, a Mordekaiser or something. It's like, yeah, we're just team fighting you now. Have fun. So Braum, Leona, both off the table, so not getting rid of all the Shepherds, but certainly Braum a very good defensive support. Leona would be more for the engage, but it means that they think Karma is likely to be mid. I mean, it's the 100 Thieves special, right? Is Karma mid Xin Zhao jungle? That's how they got to or one of their wins, I should say, back in week 1. So they're holding that as a possibility that Yusui's taking that mid.
Yeah, I always like, if you are flexible as the Dignitas side, when you see someone overcommit to support bans, right? They have 3 support bans, essentially. They ban Lulu, Lulu, Braum, as well as Leona. So then just allow Aphromoo to play the Karma, essentially throw those bans in the garbage, and pick for your solo lane, something else. Like, I always think that can be a really nice job, you know, as far as the draft change-ups do go.
Set likely in the top lane, still can be flexible. Look at the 2-1-2 right now, assuming the Karma is going down there. Obviously, in a lot of cases, you say, okay, Ezreal Karma, usually pretty safe. People have a lot of push pressure. If you're running Guardian and Exhaust, you're maybe not getting all in. Kalista maybe just turns the numbers enough because she's so good early game that even through Exhaust, even through Barrier, or Guardian, like, maybe there's just enough damage that Nautilus Kalista can threaten the all-in, and suddenly you can't quite play that 2-on-2 aggressive. Indeed, Alistar comes through instead. Karma is going to a solo after all. The support bans were well lined up, saying that the matchup wasn't going to look good on the Karma side, so it is still a solo lane flex, but we're going to have Dignitas lock that in shortly with their 5th and final pick.
Yeah, and finding out, is it mid, is it top? It is going to be mid Karma, pairing up with the Xin, as you called, along that 100 Thieves style. You have GP top. This does feel like yes, you have some engage, but largely this composition wants to kite back. As your opponents go in, you drop the GP ulti, use the Xin Zhao ultimate to try to really kind of break things up. You kite back with the Mantra Shield.
Ooh! You mentioned them.
Okay.
What are the possibilities?
One of the other possibilities, I didn't call this one specifically, but there are other champions that can do similar things. It is not a one-to-one, but you have set top. That is one of the things that they played actually with their Galio composition. They're bringing in Lissandra. So CLG are saying, yes, it is not about the champion, it is about the style. And this is a very similar style. It is looking for those kicks in from Broxa. It is a powerful lockdown and setup with the mid-jungle 2v2, set to follow it up. You can throw Nautilus in, he can follow it up. So it's all about piling in the backline. Lissandra does similar things. You do have some of the AoE CC with the root on your W. Of course, targeted lockdown with the ultimate. You can also just kind of use zone control with the self ultimate, which is kind of similarly creating this zone of power that Galio can do. So there are kind of some similarities here. It's not exactly the same, but I am going to be so interested to see how this works out. One of the reasons that I feel like Lissandra, though, in particular, has kind of fallen out of grace is a lot of people struggle to dominate with her laning phases. A long time ago, they changed some of the mana costs for her. A lot of people want to go, things like Proto Belt, which doesn't have a tremendous amount of mana in it. I'm going to be interested to see how he actually builds and how he sets up his runes to try to circumvent some of the mana issues that a lot of people do feel she has these days. Because if you can't get the push, you can't actually roam, and that can be one of the issues with Lissandra.
Absolutely the case. Top of my head without looking at anything else. Tier is just a very good item. It's 400 gold for practically infinite mana. If you never go Archangels, it's still just a good item, and that can assuage your mana issues. Obviously, you're then not buying an Amp Tome or finishing an item, so we'll see how that goes in the line. But still like to see it. CLG on a 2-0 start to the week, taking out top teams with high win rates. Now up against Dignitas, looking for a 3-0 run. And though the Gallia was banned, they did not pick up the Vi. They have brought in Lissandra. They have brought Lee Sin Jungle back, which nearly beat Cloud9 last week. CLG maybe on the resurgence, but we know every time fans get hope, it's not even for the meme value. It just keeps happening. CLG are so frequent to show signs of life and then stumble in the mid. On the Dignitas side, though, I'm wondering what's happening there because Yasui came in. I have not been convinced by the team since then, since week 2. And then as Dardoch got benched abruptly after Friday, Akane is not a bad player, but it seems like the team kind of lost some identity. Dignitas are, I think, on a 1-4 streak right now. It's a bit of a rough look for them. So CLG maybe can keep that positive momentum going. Dignitas are just on the way down.
Absolutely. I mean, there's clearly some turmoil on the Dignitas side, right? It's most people, it's kind of the elephant in the room. Is it the attitude issues that have plagued Dardoch through a lot of his career? And when you get benched straight after a Friday game and it's literally announced as he is benched for the rest of the weekend, you really do kind of assume that there was some sort of issue or some sort of disagreement or blow up or whatever that caused that. So a bit of an abrupt change for Dig. They're obviously going to be looking to find some stability, reclaim some of the success that they were having in the earlier weeks, because with the Siligo and Dardoch lineup, they were looking strong, at least on stage. And CLG is looking to try to capitalize on what is a weaker Dignitas right now. We are into the Rift here. It's going to be the Corrupting Potion start. It's Electrocute as well for Pobelter. So we'll be interested to see if it's actually like Biscuits, Time Warp Tonic. You can go towards the Corrupting Potion start, base for things like an early Dark Seal, even grab another Doran's Ring, and just try to use the early itemization to kind of circumvent some of those mana issues. But CLG with a nice little level 1 here.
Ooh, the hook, the pull back. Fake God chooses not to burn. Why flash then? You had 7 minutes to flash. You waited till you died.
Yikes.
Bruh, come on.
That flash sucked. Oh my God. He could have just instant flashed over the wall. Like straight up.
Yeah.
As soon as he got hooked.
Yeah, I know Lee Sin Q is on him, so he's like, oh, wait for the Lee Sin Q land.
Lee Sin doesn't kill you at level 1.
Exactly.
That's all his damage. Yes, you do get hooked here. I love the level 1 look, though. This is kind of an old school CLG throwback where they were doing a lot of level 1 plans. Really clever stuff here. Finn wrapping around, Smoothie, flash hook. Right now, you just need to flash. Yep. And even if Lee Sin hits you with the Q, we saw it very clearly, it wouldn't have actually gotten the kill. Multiple autos came in from other people even before the Q actually followed through. So you insta-flash. For them to kill you, they would then be looking to commit, maybe even the set flash on top for an if they can kill, and then it's multiple flashes for one. This is the worst case scenario, though, because he wastes his flash. He dies anyway. That is rough. But for all our Spanish-speaking friends, check out FlyQuest Spanish stream. They're doing their co-stream over at twitch.tv/FlyQuest. It has been awesome for the Spanish community. Thank you, FlyQuest.
Thank you very much. Shout out all the Jose Dioto fans, because I see you in Twitch chat every time. I see a lot of Spanish, and I'm like, cool. That's awesome. Keep supporting them. Sounds good. But it's not about them right now. It's about the fact that Fake God is on his way out of this lane for now. Finn cannot quite get the second punch or the fourth punch, but Fake God takes the W, hits him back with the grasp, and CLG off to a nice, solid 700 gold lead. Brox, of course, didn't get the kill, so his jungle pathing isn't any faster. Chooses to skip chickens. Keep in mind, Lee Sin is very, very bad at chickens and Krugs to get the team out or an Iron Spike whip, so dodge the AoE camps, and he'll hope to finish red before Acadian counter jungles.
Yeah, he does have Smite, so we'll see. Should be able to finish that off here, but it's actually going to be really close.
Oh, Smite comes in. I don't know who got it. Right
Brox
now, though,
it.
it looks like it's Broxit, yes. So he's wearing the red buff, and Acadian Q lands, but he has mid pressure. Without mid pressure, he couldn't have made that play, but because Yasui's there and not Pobelter in time, because he couldn't, that's an okay invade, just couldn't get the Smite.
Yeah. And one of the things we didn't really get much time to actually talk about is the fallout of this first blood on the top side, because it went to Finn, so he actually got the longsword plus an additional potion to start, which means he can sometimes really attack the mana. Brock's looking for a wraparound here.
Flash pull, they're going to safeguard in, the slows are in, absolutely no way out. Well played by CLG. Re-engage looks good, though. The dive on a Wild Turtle flashes, but a couple more autos. Flash forward, auto, Q, lands, and now Smoothie doesn't have flash to get out either. Gonna get knocked back after doing a great job setting him up. Smoothie, oh, that was beautiful! The flash headbutt. Afro Moo gives Neo a double kill on a silver platter.
It's just too easy, dude. Afro Moo setting him up. And can you believe the double kill in the 2v2 for the Ezreal against the Kalista? This is supposed to be your dominant lane here, but look at them going in. And the problem here is all about target selection. Smoothie hooks onto Afro Moo. Great, it's an Alistar. And you can see Turtle stepping forward to hit the Alistar while the Ezreal is hitting the Kalista. And this is one of those things that you have got to be so careful about, because if the AD is free firing on your AD while you are hitting the support, it is always going to go bad for you.
Yep.
And bad went to worse as Afro found the combo onto Turtle as he's getting hit by the Ezreal. You come out of that, you're exhausted. There's no ability to fight back. And that is just a poor engage from CLG, and expertly punished by Dignitas' side, because not only do they get that first kill, Afro sees the angle for the flash, headbutts him back in, and sets it up. And now, I mean, look at the Ezreal's items. Kalista went back and got basically a longsword and some shoes, and you got Tier Sheen.
Yeah.
This lane is over.
This is looking good for Neo. Well, I guess if you dodge every Mystic shot, or he hits minions, technically Sheen does no damage, but yeah, this lane is going to feel real
also,
as
if he goes AFK, you know?
Also, yeah, if he disconnects, if there's a remake, hey, you can wipe it all away, but what did we say? We're going to this one, CLG looking for the 3-0 week, and hey, it is still a close game. Keep in mind, the gold is plus 300, plus 400 for that squad. Fake God, yeah, you know what, whatever. Fight him back maybe a little bit, take some damage. Maybe didn't need to take that damage, I don't know.
I like the TP, though, from Finn. It's an aggressive TP, but Brox is on the top side, and look where the wave is, right? It actually denies the ability for Fake God to fully reset the wave, and he's kind of stuck in this awkward position now. So Acadian is going to get called up, but the danger here is we know Broxa is here, and you lose this 2v2 as Dignitas very likely. Acadian, though, will face check. I don't think you want to take that Q in, but he's going.
After that trade on a Fake God, he just popped the barrels as well, so that's looking pretty good. Acadian at half HP. Broxa, round 2, Q's up in a second. Preemptive flash by Acadian, has to kind of go early, didn't want to get guessed wrong, and hey, flash down, and top is, it is going to go back now.
Yep. And while you might lose that 1v1 as the Lee Sin, you know, you called it. Finn actually won it on the trade, and he had the move, so that pushes Acadian back. And, you know, on the minimap, I actually did see Pobelter making the move up towards top as well. So the 1v1 doesn't really matter when you've got the support of your solo lanes. They have the pressure, CLG making it happen, and oh, Yasui, you're about to face check level 6 Lissandra.
Gets ulted, Lee Sin Q lands, wait for the root, Q as late as possible, and an auto attack is enough. The second time in a row, a flash follow is not required. Dignitas dies post-flash anyway.
Yeah, Yasui, he walked out into fog there, but he had no vision, no eyes on where the Lissandra was. You knew that Lee Sin was playing on that top side of the map, so Bit of sloppy stuff there from the Dignitas side. Really good CC layering. The ultimate comes down from Pobelter. The Q is dropped there by Broxa. He's holding it just in case to see he can early flash over the wall, but everything going really good for them. They're going to get the red off of this, and CLG is playing a nice proactive game.
Yes, they are. Lee Sin's looking good. Brox has got his pickaxe that goes Iron Spike Whip or Tiamat. Probably Iron Spike, to be honest. But either way, that's going to help us clear as soon as that act is available to help knock down the camps in the AoE. Acadian feeling reasonably safe top side, going to get himself a Scuttle Crab. Always, you know, feels good for jungler to get that extra money, gold, XP, and whatnot. There you go, plus 98. And just going to take the recall now as he keeps on moving forward. Fake Guy just getting his farm. Top lane, despite the 0-2 start, one of them obviously pre-minions. Otherwise, it's been a couple of ganks. He's at least been farming pretty well. Obviously, the gold on Finn, though, going to be better since he's got those kills.
Yep, going to be better, and he's going to have those additional minions to pick up. But, I mean, if you can stabilize, he's got a Sheen. He actually even picked up a Call, so he's getting even more bonus gold when he does cash that out with the additional that you're getting from your Plunder. So, Fake God will be fine. You know, that is one of the things with GP. You scale very well, but Finn should just continue to freeze this, you know, just continue holding this wave, putting GP in an awkward spot, making him wonder, is Brox up on that top side? Because, you know, they've done actually a good job of controlling vision. You can see up on this top side of the map, there's no wards past that line, really, for Dignitas. So Fake God has no idea. And anytime Pobelter is missing, anytime he doesn't have eyes on Broxa, you really have to sit back pretty far and play with respect, or you could easily just gift over another kill.
Yes, indeed. Well, minions knocked down under the turret. Bottom lane is 1 CS difference. Phage now done as well with the Sheen. So, Neo, that's components of Trinity Force, or am I like really stupid about this and it's still Divine Sunderer?
No, it's I believe it is.
Yeah, sorry. My Trinity Force has the attack speed one on it.
Yeah.
I'm so used to like 75 seasons of Phage being in Trinity Force, my brain will not unlearn that build path. Like, that's truly what's keeping me up, is the fact that I've built 700,000 Trinity Forces with a different build path.
Yeah.
And it's been a year.
Tons of damage.
And I just can't, and I just can't unlearn it. So
Tons of damage to your brain.
Tons of damage to my brain, you know? It's Trinity Force, not even once.
It happens, you know?
Yeah. All right, it's okay. We got this one, and Dignitas are still back in action as well. A small gold deficit, sure, but no dragons taken. Rift Herald, okay, sure, that one is actually on Smoothie, so we can take that one somewhere. But Dignitas looking to play aggressively, right? They're going to knock down the Sentinels. They're going to invade through the jungle, see that blue buff is gone. Neo, I believe, should have gotten the gold on that turret.
He did.
So plus 160 there. And Dignitas, with all the wards they've made sure they've cleared out, with all the vision they know CLG doesn't have, say, okay, we can take first dragon. And honestly, this champs would absolutely love ultimate haste. I think every single one really cares. So not a bad first dragon for Dignitas.
No, not at all. And I mean, they had top Scuttle, so they should have had the idea that Broxa was probably taking the Rift Herald. At the very least, when he picks it up, you would actually spot him coming out there. And I always just like these little moves for even like a pretend wraparound if you're not actually planning on going for the full-on dive. You know, Aphromoo just kind of steps behind and says, oh, Turtle, but what if I'm going to dive you here? You know, Turtle has to back up. You lose a couple CS. You guarantee that it is going to be a safe tower plate taken there by Neo. So these little threatening plays on the flanks can definitely pay dividends over on that Dignitas side. Would like to see a little bit more of Yasui and Acadian grouping up, because it does feel like that is kind of the core components here of the composition.
Yeah.
And we haven't really seen them play together whatsoever this game. It does feel like, yes, they've been on the back foot, but if that composition is kind of not really working well, it's tough, because Acadian hasn't super prioritized farm. You can see he's down, you know, about 3-4 camps to Broxa, but he also hasn't really gotten anything done as far as the ganking is concerned, and that is always a little bit worrisome, I feel, for Xin. It's one of those champions that, like, yes, has more utility than the super old one, because the ultimate kind of gives you that zone of safety, but you still want to be playing with some pace, playing a little bit from ahead.
Sure.
The fact that, you know, he is a bit behind, GP is pretty far behind, is a bit concerning.
As Roll comes in, tags Turtle and Smoothie for a bit of damage, but not a huge problem. Last CS goes over, and CLG can move out. They hide in the fog, and they decide, all right, we're going to sit in Tribush. We're helping Broxas invade. They're helping Broxas invade. Acadian seems to know what's going on. He's playing really passively. He's brought Yasui over. They brought Aphromoo over, but this could be a 3v3 erupting pretty soon. Controlwood comes down defensively. It's okay. A recent trinket came down. That means we know absolutely that was Turtle who put it down. Not only can you click it and look at the tooltip, but at this point, the support doesn't have a yellow trinket anymore, so you know that's what's going on over there. And you're like, okay, so yes, Callista brought in her teammate. Okay, we know some information there. Back to safety, no one dies.
Yep, going to be playing that pretty smart. And they pulled over a lot of members also. You know, if there was a hard engage there from CLG, they would have been a pretty decent spot to answer. I'm actually kind of surprised, I've got to say, that Neo actually, based on that timing, though, with the wave pushing towards him.
Yeah.
He had this under, so I think he's just really prioritizing getting the spike. But there's nothing to fight for right now, and it does cost you an entire wave, and maybe even more because now the wave will bounce back and actually deny some. So he loses the entire cannon wave here.
Yeah.
For just kind of like really prioritizing getting power immediately. But I always think you have to consider, like, what is the power for, right? If there was a dragon, I would have agreed with it. Because there wasn't, I don't.
Yeah, fair enough. Right now, though, a flash kick's going to put Fake God almost in range. Can Finn get the rest of it? The slow comes in. Second flash to follow. As Fake God's flash away could not save him. Ulti never pressed. Might have been out of mana. CLG able to chase him down and find that kill. Waves denied under the turret. And a convenient blast plant gets them all to safety as well.
Punishment on the top side continues. The early flash from Fake God. But Broxa as well as Finn commit their flashes. You know, Warthog kick flash there from Broxa. He has really felt revitalized in summer because it has been a while of Broxa being pretty heavily criticized, you know, even from his TL time. And then you're looking at Spring on CLG. People are saying, you know, what happened to the old Broxa? Was it just his team making him look good? As this guy didn't really ever have it? You know, was he kind of carried? And there was a lot of negativity around him, and it's been refreshing to see him really bounce back in summer because I do feel, despite the team actually having a lot of losses, even in a lot of those losses, he looked really good.
Yes.
You notably pointed out the Lee Sin game against C9, where he was having an incredible game, and yes, it was in a loss, but it was still incredibly impressive. The back-to-back Vi wins have been great, and again here, he's on a really nice start with the Lee Sin.
It's really looking good right now. CLG coming back from a 1-5 start to looking at a 3-0 week as they try to claw their way up the standings. And Fake God gets to kill a control ward, but he has to hide from the fact that Lissandra was on her way up. He can ulti the wave. He gets most of the farm. That's something, but that's got to feel really rough. He's down 24 farm in that top lane. Obviously, 0-3 is a rough look. Dragon up in 35, and no GP ult for a dragon fight.
Yeah, I don't even know if you want to fight it, to be honest. It seems pretty rough. I mean, maybe if you can keep Finn up there, but you know, he's down 2 levels. Finn has the 2 kills. He has the 2 turret plates. He is so weak in this 1v1 right now that all he can really do is just try to survive. Obviously, there's been a lot of jungle pressure, but it was the unforced error at level 1 that allowed for some of this jungle pressure. Dignitas is making the move, though, but Finn could TP down. This could be bad.
Ult onto Acadian. Easy pickup there. A great setup, and now it's time for Afro to run. Gets dunked into the wall because Finn wants to find an Ezreal. Neo's on his way out. Will live. Second bit of damage comes across. Afro going to drop for the 2-0. Dragon on a silver platter. Well engaged by Pobelter, well followed by the rest of CLG.
Yeah, I just don't get even trying to go for that. I mean, we even talked about it prior to the play happening. You're moving over. A, you're not even grouped up with the Karma. B, Xin doesn't even have his Gore Drinker yet. He just bought it after actually dying. So you're not even on a spike here as Acadian. And the biggest problem of all is GP's got no ulti, and he's essentially worthless at this point when you're comparing over to Finn, who is ridiculously strong and had the teleport available. GP doesn't even have a way to stop the teleport. So I just think they had no business going for that. And it takes what was, you know, a bot side winning game with a top side going poorly and just kind of explodes it, right? Like now it's just an absolute disaster for them as they lose the dragon, they get killed, they lose the turret. Acadian trying to walk it out, but there's no escaping as Turtle pulls in the Nautilus, throws him out as he hops over the wall there, and they follow up for additional kills. They even get the flash, they get the tower. We just saw them taking down the Herald in the picture-in-picture as well. So CLG now have everything, and this gold lead is going to be 5K here very, very soon. So Dignitas have really kind of lost their only edge in this game, which was a bit of bot side prio.
All right, Dignitas going to try their best to somehow come back in team fights. You've got a supportive mid who's behind. Okay, whatever, it's supportive. You've still got a 2-0 Ezreal, but the rest of that team isn't really coming together. Finally on 4 Mythics, so they've hit that spike, but you know, maybe a little too late. Engaged by Aftermoo, True Shot Barrage over the 2 of them as well. Broxa kicks back, followed in by Acadian. Xin Zhao puts the ulti on. The rest of the squad is in. Broxa running for dear life, but there you go. Yasui gets the flash follow. Dignitas finally get that individual pick, and Afro almost finds a second. Not quite though, cannot get on the Pobelter. A kill, 450 gold. but nothing more just yet.
Look at Finn. He's actually setting up on the side here. Do they want to try to re-engage for a play? I guess not. And now he's kind of just isolated, so potentially going to get chased down.
Stridebreaker dodges head up, pulverize, has the ulti available, gonna dunk back to the wall, but doesn't have much more to do. Acadian nearly drops, but he will survive a second kill. Finn went for the play, did not get it right, and Dignitas have now got 900 gold picked up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get why Finn doesn't back off when his bot lane isn't moving. Initially, I say, oh, he's in the bush, he's waiting behind. When they drop the Herald, the bot lane's gonna come over, you're gonna look for the play, but bot lane's staying top, and he fishes for a grab there and just gives up a shutdown for free to the person who's the carry, the win condition.
Yep. On this side, though, we had this. We had the tower dive on Fake God, so bot lane going top gets one back anyway. I agree on the other point, though.
Yeah, and I mean, this reinforces the other point. They're making a successful play elsewhere on the map. You don't need to try to force something. You know, Finn has been having a great game, but those are the ways back into a game. I mean, Dignitas made a good play with double TP. They got a pick, but that was only one kill. It's not really that big of a deal. But then giving the follow-up shutdown over to the Ezreal definitely hurts. Fake God, though, is... I mean, he is just going to be pretty useless this game. We'll see if he can ever get enough time, if his team can buy him enough time to kind of like farm to a stage where he's pretty useful. But, you know, he's at 117 CS at 18 minutes. Like, that's a pretty pitiful pace for pro, and he has been focused very, very heavily. He wasted his flash at level 1. He didn't survive what he could have by early flashing. He late flashed, he died, and CLG have been relentless at punishing him. You know, they re-ganked knowing he had no flash to kill him off. Then he's way behind, so they continue to pressure. They zone him off waves. Cadian not feeling comfortable maybe to actually be there and look for 2v2s, knowing his top laner behind, so it kind of did snowball a lot. But after these last couple of plays, you know, Dignitas actually closed the gold lead. You have 2 items. The tier is almost fully stacked for Neo. When he hits that point and you have a Karma behind you, hey, you can make something happen. Like, we already have the Shirelias in. The Chemtech Putrefier, I want to say it is, is coming through next. So that's the healing debuffs there, and 2 very powerful items.
They're pretty good. Acadian gets the ult onto him, pops his own ult to stay alive a bit longer, but they're inside the circle. Another Lissandra ult comes down, and they just jump on him. Over and over again, not much you can do about the hard CC. CLG, they're drafting ults that stun people reliably. You click on them, they receive a stun. And they're getting kills out of it, and they're winning games out of it.
Absolutely. Good collapse from CLG, but I just don't think that Acadian actually had the prio to be able to go for that invade, right? He doesn't have the people behind him. The Karma is not with you. You're not winning on that side of the map. And as a result, it's an easy collapse. They kill him off. I don't even think he got any of the Raptors either, which kind of just adds insult to injury, unfortunately, as he'll give up a freebie. And it's got to be the bottom side of the map, really, for Dignitas. Yasui's doing fine. The bottom lane is doing very well, but jungle top is going to be useless.
So let's hone in on the strengths then. Let's focus about this, because yes, there have been a lot of mistakes, right? And this has been the story, right? It has been a kind of a sad run for Dignitas for the last couple of weeks, but we can talk about the things that are going well. Muramana now done. The mana stacked up. We're at 2-item Ezreal. That is the first huge power spike you really care about. We'll see if he wants to go for a Frozen Heart third. We've seen that build before. Can make him really hard to kill. Afro's a good frontliner, and hey, Dig are here first to the play. They want to claim Dragon number 2. Obviously, Yasui can feel reasonably safe going for the ward kill, and now CLG collapsing. TP coming in from Finn as well on the backside. Fake God marked him. I believe they saw that teleport. You can see Fake God playing in a spot where he can kind of look for Finn. Wild Toto gets rid of the ward in the pit, though, and the Dragon will reset. And here comes the push-in. Pavot, they're flashing. Ease back. Just barely stays alive. They can't go find the rest of the engage, but that is a good mark by Aframu to trade flashes. Ultimately, though, it's not going to matter. CLG dive into the river, and they claim a Dragon. Dignitas went for a kill, couldn't quite find it.
Oh, Finn's still there. Are they going to go for this play? Yeah, they are. You can see CLG moving over.
Jumps in, dunks forwarded, but Acadian zones him out. Is there really an engage to follow up on the Xin Zhao? No, Pavot has a self-ult, and Dignitas have separated the team. Zhonya's Hourglass buys a bit more time, but is it enough? The punch comes in, a second pulverize for Afro. Headbutts back Turtle. 1 for 0, 1 for 1. A second kill now to CLG. Looking for a third, but the shields might keep Fake God alive. Over the wall comes Braxa. Rended, attacked by Xin Zhao, not dead. Turtle goes in, Anchor's gonna land, and CLG finally get themselves 4 kills to 1.
It's a bloodbath, and they could go even over towards Baron. Are they gonna go for this? No, they're just gonna grab Scuttle and reset. Would seem a little bit hasty there. But despite the fact that Dignitas actually did a really good job controlling space in this fight, this was just a long con here for Finn. He was waiting that whole time after the TP. Surely Dignitas assumed he had actually based, but he dunks them back into the team. This was great, though, from Fake God, and if he actually did damage, if he was a little bit further ahead, it would matter more. But the ultimate was placed perfectly to control space. Pobelter buys time. You can see the barrel into the backline here as well, catching multiple members, but it just doesn't do enough. And the big issue here is Yasui has separated from Neo, right? You gotta be with your carry there, because Neo was actually really close to surviving. He was at a very low amount of health, but with 1 or 2 shields landing, I think he actually lives. And then maybe Neo can clean up some of these low health bars, but Dignitas got split. Yasui was not with the critical member there of Neo, and CLG finds the punish. Pobelter brought so much time with the self-ulti, and now I believe he has the Zhonya's on top, so you really can buy a tremendous amount of time. If Neo is in the wrong spot, you just ult him and kill him off. He has no QSS unless he just purchased one. I saw no Mikhail's on the way, so that is a concern. But even if he grabs that, then you just swap the self-ulting in every fight and you just push them out with that zone control.
Well, we are on the way to Frozen Heart here for the Ezreal. Nothing else you can build that cloth armor, so he is going more defensive. I actually kind of like this. The second item for Fake God is very, very smart. He's going Serpent's Fang for shield breaking. Set, Lee Sin, Nautilus, Callista with her shield bow as well. A lot of value there. Stun on Acadian, but he's going to be able to slink out of that one. And it's just an ulti on cooldown for Pobelter. Fake God going to almost spot Finn. Now Finn's going to go after him. Titanic Hydra second, so much damage, but does not get that stun follow.
That is a really good side lane build. Scrapping up there. Gives you an incredible amount of push as well with the Stride Breaker active. With the Titanic Hydra passive, you can crush through those waves incredibly fast. And part of the problem here is that Neo is now even not ahead of his counterpart, right? Turtle has kind of quietly been having a very good game. Yes, they did lose in the 2v2, but he is now sitting on 5 kills. He's working towards what is likely a Bloodthirster as that third item, just going for the straight-up lifesteal tanking against this very scrappy composition. And Dignitas' comp is somewhat low damage right now. It wouldn't be maybe in a more standard game, but Xin is behind, GP is behind, Karma is building this supportive style, so if you can just get enough lifesteal here, even if there is a healing debuff, you can heal through what is largely going to be poke. It's not going to be a straight-up 100 to 0. It's going to be maybe some barrel poke. It's going to be the GP ulti, things like this. You get hit by a Mystic Shot, but who cares if you get a couple autos out there and you heal it right back up?
Absolutely. Got to watch for what's going to happen then, because realistically, Dignitas can still get a really good-looking backline in a team fight.
Ooh,
but CLG can just delete people. Acadian's still on the farm, keeping reasonably close. He's only 5 camps down behind Broxa. That's not too bad. But yeah, okay, does go QSS after all. Does move it on, right? So if he's safe, it's going to look good. Can't be the easy target. Now, to be fair, he's almost never been the target of Pobelter. Yeah. So it's almost always found Acadian instead. And through that lens, I don't love it only because, he hasn't shown to be the target before anyway. It's only on Lissandra. And you can often just play outside of Lissandra's range. I think you actually just need damage to be able to win. That's the only thing.
It is tough, though, because I can kind of see the idea that it's if you get Lissandra ulted, you just lose, right? He's really their only hope right now. So from that point of view, I kind of get it. They want to play these extended fights, but they're looking for a pick. TP flank coming in.
Gangplank ults in. Nautilus ult finds Ezreal, jumps over the wall. He's going to be totally safe now. And as Turtle throws the squad back in, we get the fight yet again. Aftermoon dropped low in the front line. Set dunks in Yasui, and he's dead. 2 for 0 so far to CLG. Pobelter on the way forward. Neo QSS is away and runs. Blast plan whiffs. He was right onto the wall, and Brox just shuts him down with the Q follow. 16-5 on the scoreboard. CLG with a bloodless team fight.
Yeah, CLG leaving no doubt there. Pobelter had the TP flank. Finn on the wraparound. They have been really good with their positioning in these team fights, finding the angles, buying time. And Pobelter, it was just self-ult into Zhonya's. You cannot fight past that. And meanwhile, Turtle is just free-firing. He has had so much space bought for him by Finn, by Pobelter. CLG doing a wonderful job. They're going to be able to secure this Baron.
Yeah.
And they are looking like they're going to cruise to an easy 3-0 weekend.
Absolutely beautiful. Really, really well done. Whatever they did in practice, the week leading out of this one, they found a new style. The question was, can you do it without Galio Vi? Yes, they can.
Absolutely, and here it is showcased one more time. As soon as Dignitas commits too far forward, the TP is coming in. Look at Finn on his positioning here, down on this bottom side. He's looking for this wraparound angle here. Does get into the back line, goes for the dunk. And meanwhile, Pobelter is still in stasis. That whole time he had been untargetable. He's into the self-vault, he's into the Zonias. He does flash forward and actually get the root on Neo, so the QSS ended up getting some value. Unfortunately for Neo, he was too early on the blast cone, and he's standing basically on top of it, and when you're right on top of it, you kind of just get popped straight up.
Yeah.
So ended up not really going anywhere. Does get taken down, and this gold lead feels like there's no chance for Dignitas to really deal with it. There are so many engage options, and that is one of the best things about playing these style of compositions, is that sometimes teams struggle to close out a game. You are not going to find it difficult to close out a game when you're playing this style of composition as CLG. You just dive. You throw in the Nautilus. You look for the Lissandra to dive in, and even if Dignitas back up, then you take the towers while your front line is zoning.
It's looking good. 10,000 gold before 28 minutes. Absolutely massive lead for CLG. Red Bull Baron buff is on. Ready to knock down some inhibitor turrets as ult tags a couple of cast minions. No one cares about that one. Acadian dives in, is stunned, but it's enough to make CLG go back, and Turtle nearly caught out. He's stuck at half health. Acadian gets right back in, but he just doesn't have the damage. The wallets are too big on CLG. Fake God now attacked. Fake God just barely lives as Broxah jumps out, but despite a good-looking engage, the CLG 2-0.
Yeah, and you can see Turtle went towards mid, and he's just going to heal back up instantly. That's one wave. He even gets hit by a barrel, and he goes way up there. Fake God trying to defend, but they're now pressing on both sides. Isui there, but you don't have any real way to actually engage or get in on top of Turtle.
Nope, that's going to be bottom inhibitor down, middle inhibitor turret going to drop as well as CLG continues to push. Respawns are coming in. Acadian up in 5 seconds. Flash for Finn. Gale Force dunk. We're both playing Lee Sin this game. Broxah delivers a kill as Gangplank drops.
Nicely done there from CLG. Double inhib. They will back it up now as they don't have that top lane prepped. But the Baron recall's coming through here. The lead just getting bigger and bigger. Nearly 13,000 gold at this point is a comical advantage. You can see the item completions also coming through. Here it is one more time. They're going in, they're trying to find the fight. Acadian does dive into that back line. Afromu finding some access as well. But there's always someone from CLG between the carries and their carries, right?
Yeah.
This time it's Finn. And you cannot do anything when you're this Ezreal and this really strong set is standing in between you and those targets you're trying to get to. He can't walk through them and try to get on the Callista.
But there's one big thing he missed. He wastes the ult on the wave with Baron on. If you know your team is diving, you have an Alistar, save your ult for the Alistar engage, hit that target. Turtle is dead if Neo had triggered a flame on his ultimate and did anything more than hitting 3 cast minions. There are mistakes that Dig can easily clean up, and his team can look better. It's not just, oh, draw difference, whatever. It's not just hue difference, whatever. There are mistakes these players are capable of fixing in just a conversation's time, and this team looks better. It is sad to see, fairly easy mistakes made, but that is what's happening. CLG still by far being the better team today, and well done to them, looking to close it out now as they're pushing in top lane.
Yep, they are pushing it in. The super is coming in mid, they're coming in bot here. You can see all the item completions coming through on that CLG side. You've got the GA on Broxah, you've got GA on Turtle, and they're looking to finish this one off.
Okay, they pull right back in the support. A Quadra knockup. The kickback does the same. Lissandra over the top, and it's just a bloodbath. CLG getting kill after kill. The sea of red in the kill feed and in Dignitas' base. 3 kills so far, 2 to defend. Fake God and Acadian just on the way out as the minions will flood in yet again. Here we go into the mid lane. Time to attack the turrets. And Fake God just sitting in the back, waiting to get barrels back from cooldown to go for a bit more. CLG knocked on the second turret, and in 31 minutes, they will claim the victory, and CLG get the 3-0 week.
It's sweet bliss for CLG. They look so happy. What a bounce back weekend for them, finding a new style that they want to play, redefining themselves here. Obviously tough times for Dignitas on the other side, but today it's all about CLG. It's all about these dive compositions, and they have been playing.
CLG! 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 CLG!
They've been playing great. Take a bow. back-to-back Galio games paired with the bye. The question on my mind coming in today was, okay, can you replicate this sort of style? Can you replicate this sort of success?
Yeah.
If that is banned away, and the answer, at least against Dignitas, was a resounding yes.
Yeah.
They bring in the Lissandra. They go towards the Lee Sin jungle. They still play with the set top. You have Nautilus plus Kalista for hard engage in the bot side.
Yeah.
And you know, when you think about standard compositions in League of Legends, when you're looking like long term, you know, say the last 5 years, it's generally like, okay, if you want to play standard League of Legends, you draft like 2 forms of engage, right? And CLG is essentially coming into every single one of these games with like 4 forms of engage, right? And that is clearly their game plan. They're saying, all right, we're maybe having trouble playing out the game in some of these other ways. We're going to give ourselves extremely clear win conditions.
Yeah.
We are going to play with aggression, and we are not going to hesitate. And they have done that, right? It's easy to say, all right, well, yeah, then everyone should do this. You just engage. But you can't hesitate. You've got to pick your moments. You've got to go in at the right times, and CLG have been really good at that.
Yeah.
And I've also got to give them credit for being able to actually push people down and punish them consistently. Go to where there are openings on the map, right? In this game, it was Fake God. He messed up in that level 1, that's on him. But Broxa gets the credit for continuously being back up there, punishing the flashless player, returning and zoning him off of multiple ways, and putting him to a point where the GP was just worthless, and Finn is running that side lane the whole game. So CLG really deserving of that credit, and for how aggressive they are playing, and how much, it just looks like confidence they're playing with.
Early game, CC, early game ganking jungler, CC champion mid, right? Like, a lot of teams are playing Nocturne, they're playing Akali, they're playing Gwen, stuff like that. And Poet's champion pool right now is Galio and Lissandra and probably a bunch of other stuff. It's like, yeah, I don't care if this is the meta. This is winning for CLG. They threw it, including beating 100 Thieves.
This is their meta.
Half of their losses in summer are to CLG. Like, this is CLG saying, here's our comps, here's how we play, and it's working, so props to them. Broxa, player of the game. I think very few people would be surprised about this one. He played the Lee Sin immaculately. His Vi was good. He's doing great. I cannot wait to watch more CLG games, which
Something
the phrase
you haven't said in a while.
no one's said in over a year, but I'm happy about it. I'm so happy for CLG, and I can't wait for week 4 for them. Now we're going to head over to the stage and join the Tigress and Wild Turtle for a Verizon postgame interview.
Thank you, Freak. I am here with Wild Turtle. CLG has had one perfect weekend in the past 2 years until now.
Wow.
Tell me how it feels.
It feels amazing. I mean, I haven't had a 3-0 week in a pretty long time. At least, yeah, I guess from my memory too. So it feels amazing that we finally did it. We went back to the guns and just did it.
Yeah, tell me about how you had to adapt to get this 3rd win of the week as well, because the Galio was banned away, but some of the pieces stayed.
I mean, we just started playing more hard engage comps. I think it just made it more simple for us to play the macro of the game. We felt more confident when we're going in, and I think it just works out.
Did y'all have to bully Fake God as much as you did?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And a lot of that was at the hand of the way Broxa was able to impact the entire map. Some people saying he's looking more and more in line with old Broxa here on the Lee Sin. Have you noticed an evolution in kind of just his overall attitude right now?
Definitely. I think his Lee Sin is definitely top tier. It's really fun when you have a good Lee Sin on your team. He just looks for these plays, and then suddenly you have their AD carry in your team fight, and you're like, wow, you just got passed over. So.
It's so cool because we're getting to hear from you for the first time here on the stage, but we've actually gotten a lot of insight through episodes of replay files. You've been part of so many historic moments, but still competing here at the top level. What has it been like for you just reflecting upon all of these years and still smashing?
I'm kind of just more appreciative in the now. I kind of do my best in what I can do now, and I don't really look back on the past too much. Like, I don't really care too much about my achievements. It's more of just about like how good I'm doing now. So.
Still love seeing your smile reacting to some of those past moments, so it's been great. A 3-0 week can be extremely invigorating. Is there anything specifically that CLG is focused on, though, in the rest of summer? We just finished the first round robin.
I think we just have to adapt our playstyle and add more maybe spicy picks to our arsenal, so we'll see that.
Always appreciate your spice, Wild Turtle. Thanks for stopping by. That is going to conclude our first game of the day. We're kicking to a break, but on the other side, it is time for Team Liquid to face off against 100 Thieves. See you there.
It all comes down to this one last dragon fight to call the whole game. But look at the damage on the Wombo combo. All 5 enemy players down. GG!